Right. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday morning meditation program. Nice to see so many of you online, and nice to see Maktar and Amber. That's right. Yeah, Amber here in person today. Wonderful. Um, so, this morning, well, this is going to be a preview actually for this afternoon. Um, we're going to be continuing the theme that we've been starting recently about good friendship and the ways that good friendship can lead us all the way to awakening. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about that, about the ways that good friendship helps us to develop in the awakening factors of mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, um, concentration or samadhi, and equanimity, all starting from good friendship. This is part of our series. We're trying to have multiple voices from the Sangha. Um, as you know, Ayasobana has recently departed for the East Coast, and hoping we'll be introducing the others in our Sangha. We started this last Tuesday evening, introducing two of our other monastics here, and this afternoon we're going to be introducing a few more. I have one more with me here. Uh, well, behind the flowers, sorry. Uh, Venerable Sanghamita is here with me right now, and she'll be joining us this afternoon. And we're calling this series The Wisdom of the Sangha, where it's not just one voice, but all of our voices together, hopefully being somehow stronger and than just one alone. And so that will be for the next few weeks. We'll be having some monastics coming in, joining us for the Vasa. The Vasa is the 3-month rainy season retreat, traditional, the monsoon season in India, when the monastics would stay just in one place for those 3 months and form like a special community practice time for those 3 months. So we're going to be having some incoming monastics for those 3 months. First one, Venerable Sanghamita, behind the flowers, has already arrived, and more will be coming. And we'd like to introduce them to you and invite you, once you've met them all, to feel like you can be also part of this Sangha, this special practice time that we're going to be having coming up for the Vasa. So our theme for the next couple weeks leading up to that is the wisdom of the Sangha, introducing our Sangha here, and what has emerged for us together here for a while has been, this theme of good friendship and how that good friendship leads us all forward, leads us all towards our goal of growth in the path of greater peace and tranquility, all the way up to our liberation and nibbana. So that's sort of a preview. That's a framing of the meditation I'm going to lead this morning. But the meditation this morning will just be on what is that awakening? What are the factors that make it up? What are the factors that lead to it? And how can we develop those? So, I invite you to come into your meditation posture, uh, if not already, finding a way to sit uh, or a way to be. It is possible to be any of the four postures, standing, walking, lying down. I think for most of us, we'll be sitting. So finding a way to sit that is upright, um, feels dignified, strong, and comfortable, at least enough that you don't need to move too much for the next 40 minutes or so. And, you can do this by finding a way just to balance, uh, you know, feeling yourself sitting on the cushion or on the chair, feeling rooted to the earth, touching in with the sensations of contact with the earth. And then bringing your attention up the spine, from the low back to the mid back, the neck, the back of the head, and feeling this all in a line, as if there's a string coming up, pulling up, and everything else, keeping it upright, and everything else then just relaxes around that strong central column of the body. Letting the shoulders hang down, the arms hang down, arranging the hands comfortably. And just having a sense of this body seated here, breathing. Mm. Bringing your mindfulness to the fore, bringing your mindfulness to the breath. When you breathe in, knowing that you're breathing in. When you breathe out, knowing that you're breathing out. And just this knowing is your awakening factor of mindfulness. The first awakening factor, it all starts with mindfulness, with clear knowing of breathing in, breathing out. And see if you can get a feeling of what is mindfulness. What does it feel like to be mindful? A great teacher Ayakema says, mindfulness is happiness. Sometimes it's subtle, but see if you can get a sense of the subtle joy, the subtle pleasant feeling just of being mindful. Breathing in, breathing out, with the awakening factor of mindfulness. And when you're able to connect with the breath with mindfulness, then you can start to develop the next awakening factor of investigation. What is this breath like? Is it long? Is it short? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Feeling the coolness as it enters the nose. Seeing the warmth as it flows out again. Investigating the qualities of this breath. Starts to develop the second awakening factor of investigation of states. As you investigate the qualities of the breath, you might find that other things come up, different qualities of mind, thoughts, distractions, or maybe just great mindfulness and clarity about the breath. Whatever state is arising, that can be investigated with this awakening factor of investigation. And then, based on what you find when you investigate, you make a decision how to apply your energy. Do I need to bring up some energy to bring this mind back to the breath? If so, do it gently. Gentle energy, bringing it back. Or if it's staying nicely with the breath, if it's happy there with the mindfulness, then see if you can bring more energy to that, to look in deeper, see more clearly, get more interested in the breath. So with mindfulness, continuing to investigate, and then applying your energy accordingly. This is the third awakening factor of energy. And with this energetic investigation, as you get deeper and clearer, sometimes joy will arise. The joyful interest in the breath, the joy of the simplicity of the breath. It can be very subtle, or it can be very big. And with your mindfulness, just notice if there is any sign of such a joyful interest. But don't worry too much if not. You can at least have the joy that this is a good use of your time. There are worse things you could be doing. The joy of not having any remorse about just sitting here calmly, peacefully, doing your best. That enough is a cause for joy. If there is any joy, just see if you can let it grow. Maybe it's like a little seed needing some water. Maybe it's like a bud about to bloom. Maybe it's a full flower. Whatever it is, just allowing it to grow, giving kindness and care to that little plant of joy with interest, with energy, with investigation, with mindfulness. These four awakening factors joining together. And with joy and interest, you may find the other things in the mind falling away. You may find the joy leading to tranquility. Peacefulness. Peacefulness of simplicity. This is the awakening factor of tranquility, arising out of joy. And abiding in tranquility with the breath still going in and out. When the mind is clear and simple, you can go deeper. You can go towards stillness, samadhi, letting the mind be immersed while other things just fall away. Letting go. Letting go into stillness. This is the awakening factor of samadhi. And as we develop these 6 awakening factors, they lead up to the 7th of equanimity, equipoise, which balances all the others. Whatever is arising, whatever it is, we just look on and see with balance, allowing it to be as it is. And all the while we continue with mindfulness. We continue to investigate. We continue to apply our energy to feel the joy of that. And then when we can, to release into calm and stillness, keeping our balance in the midst of it all. And we let all 7 of these imbue the mind. The mind steeps in them. The mind imbued with these 7 is becoming ripe, ready, ready for awakening. And just sitting here with the breath, we can develop all 7. So we'll continue in silence a few minutes with the simplicity of the breath and with the mind imbued with these awakening factors. sadhu, sadhu. Right. So thank you everyone for your practice, for being together here. Um, so welcome to stretch a little if you'd like. Um, so then this is our time. If there are any questions, if there's any comments, especially about the awakening factors. As I mentioned at the beginning, we'll be talking a little bit more about this afternoon. So watch out, there might be a quiz. Can you name all the enlightenment factors? um, okay, we'll find out this afternoon. There will be a review and then a quiz. um, for now, any question, any comment? Anything anyone would like to come in with and share? Diana, yes, please. You'll need to unmute yourself. Not able to hear
There we
you.
go. There
There
we
we go.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. It said the host had to.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Sorry, let me undo that. That's a
Yeah,
safety thing so we don't have the Zoom bombers.
yeah,
Now you should be able to unmute yourself.
yeah. I did. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If you were to give me a quiz, I'd flunk. um, I had some thoughts that came to me on mindfulness,
Hmm.
and there were things that had occurred to me um, a while ago, and then when I started learning about mindfulness, I said, "Oh, that's okay." So it's being aware of where my body is in time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Just being aware of where I am, and then when I was learning about it, it's like but staying in the present moment, which um, the Indians or Native Americans, that's what they practice as well. It's like it's being in the here and now and not in the past, and not in the future. It's like just being here, and then and being aware of what I am doing right
Mm-hmm.
now, even if it's something as simple as brushing my teeth.
Right.
Because like, did I get this side? Did it? Because if you let your mind wander, it's like, did I get every one of them? Because I do have my wisdom teeth. I have to make sure to get those.
Mm-hmm.
So just those were just thoughts that occurred to me, while we were meditating. I had to write them. I had to write them down so I didn't forget what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, absolutely. That's another
Thank
mindfulness
you.
strategy for writing it down so we don't forget what we're doing. Or keeping it in mind, noting it in mind, and remembering what we're doing when we're doing it. Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the, uh, in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, it has one of the practices for mindfulness of the body is just knowing what you're doing while you're doing it. If you're reaching out, if you're pulling your hand back, if you're walking, if you're, uh, you know, going out on the alms round, if you're coming back to the monastery, if you're eating, talking, consuming,
Even just breathing.
breathing, yes, using the toilet, all of this, just knowing what you're doing while you're doing it is a very important practice. And, so much of it we tune out. So, if we can just sort of keep the mindfulness present throughout the day, that's a very powerful thing. It just sort of transforms your whole experience. So, yes, thank you for bringing that out. Thank you for mentioning that. Um, let's see. Okay. Someone, Sikamana Aryawangsi, I think you were next. And you should be able to unmute yourself now. Is that true? You'll need to unmute yourself.
You hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Acha. Uh, awakening factor is 5 factor. The first
Seven.
one. The
Seven.
first one. You want me to name all 5
Oh,
of them?
this is your quiz? Sure. You can name
It's
them.
a comment. It's a comment. Have a good friend. have a good company or associate, which is
Mm,
we're doing right now. So, two, ethical,
mm,
restraint in the monastic code
mm-hmm.
or in your own rule as a lay person. You have to set up your own rule. Or you can use monastic rule in your house. That's fine. Buddha doesn't, again, that you can't do it. Three, self-effacement. You
Self-effacement.
don't
Yeah.
feel like it's your, everything is your. It's no your in you. Four, energy rose up for giving up, unskillful.
Mm-hmm.
You try to be strong, do everything totally correct, repeating, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, you don't give up otherwise. The fifth one is wisdom. You know,
Mm-hmm.
your wisdom now you start to know it. You try everything from the
Mm-hmm.
fourth and before this. So that's a good way to
Right.
practice. It
Okay.
can
Yeah.
bring you to enlightening if you seriously and just like I say in the fourth one, keep doing that nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say for
Yeah,
now. Thank you
thank
so
you.
very much.
Okay, well, yes, I think you're anticipating our sutta for this afternoon, which talks about that specific list of five. Um, I had in mind the seven bojjhangas, the Satta Bodhi bojjhangas, which
Bojanga.
is mindfulness,
Uh-huh.
investigation of dhammas,
Oh,
energy, that's an overlap,
okay. Okay.
um, and joy, piti,
Okay. Joy.
passaddhi, tranquility,
Okay.
samadhi,
Uh-huh.
concentration or stillness, and
Okay.
upekkha, equanimity.
Ubeka
So those were
in the
the ones
middle
that I
way.
had in mind. Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
see.
And those were the
Ah,
ones that we were talking about during the meditation of like developing and imbuing your mind with those in meditation. But yeah, it
okay.
has an important link to the five that you named, and we will be talking about that link at great length at the sutta study this afternoon.
Yes,
So you're
Aja.
giving us a preview. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
All right, I want to go to Daniel. Next question, comment.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it's probably a good way to memorize those, actually, the more you kind
Mm,
of practice them that way. I think also when I was, we're investigating, right? What is this breath? What is it doing? Um, it kind of occurred to me the sort of simplicity and constancy of breath in terms of it might adjust, speed up or slow down depending on what's going on, but it's always there.
yeah,
And how that kind of reflects equanimity in that way, that sort of like constancy and patience. And then
hmm,
also how really that's all we need for our practice,
right.
is to breathe. We don't need fancy temples or whatever, although those are nice.
Yeah, they're helpful.
They're helpful, right?
Yeah.
But that really we just need to breathe. And if we can do that, we can practice Dhamma, we can meditate.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. This is what makes the breath so great is that it's just always with you. You carry it around with you everywhere. And no problems. And yeah, I want to acknowledge my inspiration for this particular meditation came from Bhante Analayo, who often teaches with the seven awakening factors, sort of like he'll start with a different meditation, but then he'll say, okay, now you do this meditation with these seven awakening factors, bringing them in one by one. And I've found that very helpful, actually, to just sort of make sure that meditation is not just by rote, not just, it's not the breath for its own sake. It's the breath imbued with this, developing the mind in this way. And then that's how it can really be productive and onward leading. So, anyway, if you liked that, you could check out some of Bhante Analayo's teachings. You might also like those. So, yeah. Amber here in the room. Yes, please. Let me give you a microphone. Just a moment. Uh, okay, hang on. I need to turn to that mic.
Am I working?
So,
Okay,
can you hear her? Yes.
great. Um, this might sound kind of silly, but lately my path has brought me to being mindful in the moment with the insects and the bugs, like maybe it was people first, then nature, just your different path. Now it's connecting with the insects for some reason, the bees, the butterfly, even the ants, even the littlest, just trying to connect with the living beings. Um, and you were talking about friendship possibly expanding to your enlightenment and helping and growing that. Um, so I go to a rustic natural hot springs resort, and the bugs, they fly into the water, and so, you don't know if they're, maybe there's whatever could possibly be drowning. So sometimes I'll try to rescue the bugs out of the water. It's whatever. Um, and if you scoop up a bee and you put it on the ledge, if you put your hand out, it'll crawl right onto your hand. It needs to dry itself before it can fly, I guess. So it'll crawl right on you, and I don't know if it's because it thinks you're safe, but it trusts you or something. But it'll just sit on your hand and it'll groom itself until it's ready to go. And I'm just, it's been so beautiful having these little friendship little bees. It's like the greatest thing. They're they're surprisingly very friendly. And then I had a little passing thought that I'm not sure, but maybe the bees have the Dhamma figured out. They're part of the hive. They have an important, they're a worker bee in the world. Yeah, they have an important part of the world in their job of what they do. And I'm not sure, but they might not be like worried about, they don't have to worry about their stock profile or, if all the bees in the hive like them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do, but they might just have it figured out. They're just a part of it. They're working hard and, so I'm not passing thoughts, but the friendships have been very beautiful. Just trying to just another level of beings to connect with and the bees are great friends. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you, Amber, for that beautiful sharing. Yes, absolutely. The bees can be our friends, and the spiders and even the mosquitoes, the ticks, everybody. Um, Gonna switch my mic again here. Yeah, just mindfulness. And yeah, it's really an amazing practice actually to be engaging with those little beings as if they are other little beings, like not just they're not just part of the scenery, they're not just a nuisance, they actually are other living beings. And when you can sort of see them that way, have the mindfulness of them that way, that really like transforms so much about the world and the way, yeah, a different tuning in, um, and just awareness and bringing that quality of mindfulness and kindness to everything because you don't want to step on them, right? And you don't want them to fly into the water and drown. And, you know, right? Yeah, yeah. No, I remember the first time. Yeah, I remember the first time I like picked up a spider. It was after I'd been practicing with the five precepts for a while, and I used to not, I wasn't like terrible about spiders, but I didn't like them near me. But after I had been practicing with the five precepts for a while and like not killing them and like really being concerned about their welfare, then one day I found myself picking one up in my hand, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." Okay, Amber wants to share a little bit more. All right, to get.
Was just a baby note on what you just said about the spiders, because it's funny you just said that. That has been my recent because I was watching videos and there's these certain really cute, very attentive little spiders that they have that are famous online. And as soon as I started watching that and they were really cute, now all of a sudden I'm seeing all the spiders. And now I picked up a spider last time I was there and exactly what you said. And now I'm seeing them and they're a lot less threatening than you would. Anyways, exactly what you just said.
Yeah, so that I know has been an important like transformation for me in how I engage with the world. So I'm glad to, and you've just shared about that so beautifully. It's really true. That friendship helps us to see that about all the different kinds of beings, and yeah, that we are all interconnected in that way. Um, And we have the ability to let the little beings be free of fear. If we treat them as a friend, then they don't need to be afraid of us, and we don't need to be afraid of them. And that's a wonderful gift to the world. You know, I'm not sure they have it completely figured out. Like, they have a lot less ego. They don't have the stock portfolio, as you said, and I don't think they were. Yeah, all this self-awareness stuff, yeah, all that's like special human stuff mostly. Some animals might have it, but I think the bees not so much. So that is one benefit of being a bee. Um, I think they do have still a lot of the difficulties of living beings, though, in that, they can be afraid. They can, yeah, they're well, yeah, they can suffer, they can die, right? They still have that. And so we still have they still have to eat. They still have to, continue their species. They still all die at some point. And so they're not completely out of that cycle of suffering. But it's true that we can admire the specific things that they've got figured out that the humans don't. And I think you named those very beautifully. Okay, we're coming towards the end of our time, but I see a hand from Madeline. May I invite you?
Oh, thank you very much for a lovely talk. I'm really very, very attached to the seven factors of enlightenment. And some years ago, I did a retreat with Ajahn Sona, and I think it might still be on YouTube. And did a lot of practice then and became really attached. Well, not attached, but I became very aware of equanimity in a way that I hadn't before. And I practice equanimity a lot. And I think it really stands us in very good stead to practice equanimity. Look on the world with quiet eyes. And particularly if you have children and grandchildren, it's very, very, very helpful to be able to develop an equanimous approach to how they're living their lives. To love them, but know, I love you, but your happiness or unhappiness depends upon your own action and not on my wishes for you. It's a very wise way of living a life. And I'm so grateful I've found the Dhamma and found this wonderful practice.
Yes, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Yes, and you've said that very beautifully. Yeah, equanimity, the Buddha has so many lists, and equanimity is the final thing in a lot of them. There are a lot of, so much of the practice is leading up to that. And, equanimity isn't the final. It's not the final knowledge and liberation, but it's close to it. And it's a very important quality for developing that. And, thank you for bringing that out and naming that. It's such a wonderful and important part of our practice, and such a joyful thing, honestly. So I'm glad you've had that experience, and thank you for sharing it with us. All right, so we've come to the end of our time here, and so I think we could, unless anything urgent, no? All right, I think we could close by paying our respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the blessed one. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.
Thank you, Ajay, for the
Okay.
teaching.
Thank you,
Yes.
Aya.
See you
Yes,
next
thank you.
time.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Hope to see some of you back this afternoon, where you'll be seeing a little bit more of our Bhikkhuni Sangha and hearing a little bit more about friendship and the awakening factors. So see you
Okay.
this afternoon.